Welkom bij een nieuwe aflevering van de Sofa van Bolero. Vandaag nemen we UCB onder de loep, een Belgische biotechspeler waarvan de koers eind september sterk steeg. En dat kan natuurlijk vragen oproepen. Om een antwoord te bieden op die vragen praat ik vandaag met KBC Securities analist Jacob Mekhael. Hi Jacob, welcome at our Bolero studio. Please make it yourself comfortable.
Hi, and thanks for having me.
First of all, for the viewers who aren't very familiar with UCB yet, what kind of company is it?
UCB is a typical pharmaceutical company, and what that means is they develop new drugs, they take them through all the stages of development, and then once they're ready to be on the market, they commercialize them across the world, in the US, in Europe, and the rest of the world as well, until the patent expires. Then, on the other side, they also, in parallel, are developing a new pipeline of drugs in order to fuel the next stage of growth once those patents end. And the cycle continues.
And is UCB also historically known for this business, or did they do something different in the past?
Historically, they are known in the field of neurology and immunology as well. So they have very good drugs in epilepsy, for example.
Can you tell a little bit more about the medicines, about UCB or the different divisions in the company?
Yeah, sure, of course. At the moment, UCB has 5 key growth drivers. The most important one of them is Bimzelx. Now, this is a drug that is approved in psoriasis and other autoimmune diseases. It's approved in 4 diseases in total, and this has been launching in the last 2 years or so.
Bimzelx is also something that came in use already a couple of times. It looks like it's the most famous drugs of UCB, if I can say that. Why is it so important to them?
Yeah, I think Bimzelx is an important drug for UCB because of its commercial potential. As I mentioned, there are 5 key growth drivers, but Bimzelx has the biggest sales potential. And so therefore there is a lot of investor focus on it. And the launch has been going very well. So that is something that is drawing more investor attention into the stock.
We have also seen that the latest of time, if we have a look at the year-to-date performance of UCB, we can notice a rise for over 25%, if I'm not wrong. What are the key drivers of this performance?
Yeah, of course. UCB share price this year has been impacted by a few different developments. I think earlier during the year there was impact or potential impact from tariffs in the US, which not only impacted UCB, but also the broader EU pharma sector as well. So we saw companies like that being impacted negatively. But as the year went by, the share price began to recover, and this was mainly driven by sales of Bimzelx and growth in revenue. So the company, during the half-year results, they shared results where they beat expectations in terms of sales, and this was driven by Bimzelx. Again, Bimzelx beat sales expectations, and that drove the stock price to go up.
Related to that year-to-date performance, the stock price rose for over 20% on the 29th of September. What news triggered this increase, this huge jump of the stock price?
Indeed, this was quite a big jump, and the key driver for that was a potential competitor for Bimzelx. They reported phase 3 data for a drug that would have been a potential competitor, and those results did not look that good, and they definitely did not look as good as Bimzelx. And so this was well received by investors because it means that Bimzelx has less competition in the near term, and therefore it can continue to capture market share and grow in the coming years.
Jacob, next to the news of MoonLake Therapeutics, there was also some news about the deal for pharmaceutical companies. Can you give some information about that?
Of course I can, yeah. Basically, there was a deal announced between Pfizer and the US administration on most favored nation pricing and on tariffs. And the outcome of that deal was quite favorable for pharma companies in general, and it was not as bad as initially had been feared. And so generally we saw EU pharma performing well on this news, and UCB as well did quite well yesterday based on that news as well. I think the key thing was that there was a grace period that Pfizer was able to secure in order to avoid tariffs for the next 3 years. And this is seen as a template that other companies might be able to follow, and that's why the news was well received.
Jacob, with this latest news in mind, what are the expectations of KBC Securities for UCB for the coming weeks, the coming months, and even the coming years?
Well, we spoke a lot about Bimzelx. This is the key growth driver. So in the coming months, we expect Bimzelx sales to continue to grow. And looking at the full year results, we'd hope to see another beat on expectations. And that's going to continue to be one of the drivers of the story here. I think alongside that, there is the early stage pipeline. And UCB has a rich early stage pipeline, which they're developing. For example, recently we saw early stage results for galvokimig, which is a drug being developed for atopic dermatitis. And the results, while early, they looked promising and could fuel the next stage of growth beyond Bimzelx. So there are two things going on. There are the commercial traction, and then you also have the early stage pipeline, which is something to look forward to. And next year, there is one other event that we would like to point out. UCB is conducting a head-to-head trial with another competitor, Skyrizi, and they hope to show that their drug is more superior, and the results come next year. So that's going to be also an important event that we should watch out for.
Okay, I think a lot of investors and viewers of the video can put that date on the calendar. Then with this last response of you, Jacob, I would like to conclude our talk and thank you for the very insightful information that you've told us.
Thank you for having me as well.
En ook u bedankt voor het kijken van deze Sofa-video. Wil je op de hoogte blijven van al het laatste beursnieuws? Abonneer je dan zeker op ons Bolero YouTube-kanaal of neem een kijkje op onze beursblog via de website www.bolero.be.